Okay, YouTube, so here we are. After looking at this plumbing situation, I've taken out the main water feed that goes into the tank over here, down there, and I've realized I don't want it coming across this bench because this is going to become a seating area and a bed. So I want it all to go through here and under and then kind of poke up like this so it's least in the way. There's the water tank and that's the other side of the bench seat, which is going to turn into a bed. So I need to have a bit of a game plan about how this is actually going to work. And what I figured out is, so I don't mess myself up, I think I'm going to have to come to the outside under here and build these cabinets. So just there's going to be a door and there'll be an outside kitchen here with some plumbing, and then coming down this way there'll be gas cylinders, space for leaving a space potentially for a water heater, and then leaving space for cooking equipment and tools and bits and bobs on this side. So I think I'm going to have to get on and make some outside lockers, which is going to be pretty challenging. Okay, so this is the plan. I've got this checker plate, which is quite thin but strong and good, and I've got an aluminium composite panel. So I'm going to use these for the doors and the framing, which is going to work really well. Also, I've got about 1 million of these little suckers, which are sort of plastic corners and three-ways and T's. And these are going to link together so I can quickly put together these boxes and frames and then rivet the checker plate to the outside and make it all really strong. So that's the plan. I don't have aluminium welding skills, so that's the way I'm going to go. I'm hoping it's going to be strong enough. I'm sure it will be. So yeah, let's get on to the next part. So this is the aluminium that I've just received, and it's really nice. It's really well packaged. So if you just come in a little bit closer, you can see on these strips there's actually a little web on there. So what we can do is, for doors and cabinets, we can have the main body, then we can attach our panels into this web so they're inset, which is really nice. So you can make it really clean doors and surfaces. So I'm pretty excited about this, and I like it in black. Okay, so in this box I've got all of the different joiners, corners, T's, three ways, four ways. It's going to be a real puzzle how to put it all together, but hopefully it shouldn't be too hard once I start to get into it. Okay, YouTube, so listen, I had mixed success with my cabinet making today. I realized I needed to make some cabinets before I got onto the plumbing because of getting the pathways right. But I figured, yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of both. So I've got a plan for the cabinets, and I've stripped out all of the old plumbing. I've got the pump, and I'm just thinking about the location, how that pump's going to fit in this space, and how I'm going to use the new fittings to run the pipes where I want them. So at the moment, we have this one at the base here. That is water coming out of the tank. This guy swooping around and coming up is kind of like a level meter, but it doesn't really work because it's kind of crimped at the bottom here, and I don't think the water's going to go through. So I'm going to install this 90-degree angle thing in the bottom. That's going to help. And then this one at the top is the overflow, which goes to this overflow thing. And I'm going to run the filler pipe from here down here through here and in, so that this can be flat and not with pipes over it. So this is the pump. I've just taken out the bungs and fitted these little screw-on bits, which is pretty groovy, and I'm just working out whether I want to fit the pump on the wall like this, or like that, or lying down like this. Any of those things would kind of work. Don't know what's going to be the quietest, but I feel like having it mounted up like this might be better for the power going out and being a bit clean and easy to access. So yeah, this is where I'm at. I spent quite a lot of time working on this little drawing, which is basically the outside lockers using those kind of clip locks with the thing. So working out all the dimensions, how that locker is actually going to work, how many of those I need, all the lengths, and then what's going to go in there. And this thing here is actually going to be a stove burner that slides in and out. That's the gas bottle. This is the space where I might have a water heater in the future. And I'm thinking about having a locker that's accessible from the top, which will actually be here, but right here. But I don't know if that's going to work with all the water pipes running. So today's another day. So it's all a bit complex. And today, so that's where I'm at the moment. Help on lockers. Young guy who's going to give me a bit of a hand. He's a bit of a Rubik's Cube master, so that helps. So I've got this design that I've been hatching out, trying to make my boxes, the outside lockers, and this is the design, and it looks a bit complex, but it kind of makes sense. It's going to be inserting into this void underneath the body of a camper. So I've got these aluminium sections which we've measured and cut up with the drop saw, and trying to get it all working and smooth. So these are them going round and round, trying to fathom out all the ways they go together. It's pretty complex, but we'll work it out. This is the progress of some of the frames, all the little clip blocks, and the trick is you've got to think about the order that they all go together, and otherwise you can kind of screw yourself up and get trapped where you can't actually build it because you left a section out. So you've got to be quite careful with that. Here we are, we've put all those uprights in, and we're locking these last cap to take all these kind of parallel pieces together. And that's Ray giving us a bit of a hand there. Yeah, so knocking it all together with a mallet is actually pretty satisfying, and it works nicely. There we go, knocking that down to make my first box. And we took extra time to make sure all the cuts were really accurate, and they're really square because they're on the drop saw. And yeah, it's good and strong. Here it is, that's where it's going to go, locking into that space. And yeah, so we cut a piece of that composite panel, which surprisingly actually fit perfectly. And because there's a little lip on the some of the sections, it fits perfectly in and flush to the edge. So we were pretty happy with that. And I think it creates a really nice finish. As you can see, shiny, quite satisfying. It gives a real clean, sort of factory looking finish, which we were excited by. we like it. So here I go, cutting the hole for the hatch. So this will be a hatch for dry stores underneath the seat. So I'm doing a plunge cut here with the saw, trying to make it as accurate as possible, trying to not create a mess in the body of the camper. So yeah, here we go. Lots of careful looking, it seems there. Here we go. Sawing, yeah. So it's about just going really slowly when you're making these plunge cuts and adjusting the depth of the saw so it just goes through the depth of the timber and no more. So it's just really clean and not kind of too out of control, and you're not overshooting the line, because if you have the whole saw you can sometimes overshoot the end of the line and it's a bit wild. So this is my amazing saw. It is called the Silky Gomboy, and it's a pruning saw but also for construction, and it is awesome. It's super sharp and it's great for detailing, using it here like a giant jigsaw just to cut those things, cut those fine corners, and it just slices through the plywood. It's amazing, it's so sharp. It's made in Japan and it's a really, really good bit of kit. It's got super very So I'm just cutting through and hopefully getting a nice clean edge on all of the...
Yep.
Hello! There it is, full hole. So here I'm using strips of ply that I've cut to create a lip, which is where that hatch is going to sit on. So I'm going to be dropping that piece that I've just cut out into that hole and creating a platform so it doesn't fall through. So we can just lift that lid out and put tins of food or whatever in there. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm up to, and yeah, all good.